Cry Freedom Soundbite, Saturday the 30th of September 2017. Well, I'm sitting in the caravan with a cup of tea, contemplating the meaning of life, which is something that I seem to have been doing a lot recently, as no doubt have many of us. Lots of things hitting me. Mind you, that's been kind of like the way it's been for the last few years, but since we got past that so-called date of however you want to view it, and for me I'm looking at it in a positive way, but the thing is that to get to where we want to get to, all the crap has to come out first, doesn't it? So if you do watch things like mainstream news, which I very much tend not to, the very occasional glance is all I'll give it, but obviously you can't help but see things if you're going to be on social media, etc. Things, just pop up, don't they? So from all apparent views, it does look pretty horrific out there and mad and crazy, and it does seem to be hyping up even more. But again, this has to happen, doesn't it? How can we move to something else without all of this getting highlighted? And again, there's so many different ways of looking at the whole of this. And what I was thinking about recently, I had someone coming at me with sort of propositions, etc., as you do get on Facebook, obviously. And this was a guy that was claiming to have all this wealth and all this knowledge and all this power over his own life and how to control it. And he was offering me the chance to be able to take back my own power. He was basically saying that I'd got myself into a hole, into a bad place, an unhappy place, a non-profitable place, and he would show me how to rebuild all that so that I could have anything that I wanted. Yeah, right, okay. But all of that aside, there were certain things he was trying to tempt me with, like all the money that he apparently has and all the land that he owns around the world. And again, this knowledge that will change my life forever. Private jets and all this stuff. And I tell you what, it did make me realise more than anything is that I actually wouldn't even want that kind of a life. Even if someone handed it to me on a plate, I honestly, genuinely would not want that. All of that materialistic scene just leaves me cold. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't be handy to have a little bit of money in the bank, or not even in the bank, just as a sort of a nest egg and something. Obviously, this world runs off money at the moment, so having some makes life easier. But, that's all I'd ask for, just a little bit. A few grand in the bank would actually do me. Not in the bank, I keep saying in the bank, in my hand, habit, would do me. Just to sort of, have something to fall back on if you need it for certain things that come up. And apart from that, I don't think I'd change what's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to be going to work on this farm, this organic farm, and it's a little bit daunting because I've never done outside work like that before, and we're coming into winter, and as this fella was saying to me, this one that was proffering all this stuff at me, why are you doing this now? And of course that has entered my mind, but there's two reasons. One, that I don't really have a choice, and two, why not? I reckon that if you go through the worst bits, then the best bit that comes after is just going to be even more sublime. And I don't even think it's going to be that bad. What's the worst that can happen? I'll get a bit cold and I'll get a bit wet, I'll get a few aches and pains, but I tell you what, the way that my life has been procrastinating over the last few years, because I've been stuck here, I think I'm going to welcome that. I think I'm going to feel alive. I'm actually probably going to sleep so much better too, because I'm just going to be so knackered. So I don't think there's any downside here. As I say, this is an option that people can look at, because there are people out there that need help in these places. And again, I'm going there with nothing, but I'm not going to need anything really. And again, if little things come up, then yeah. But there's going to be ways to make little bits of money, little jobs extra that you can do, or there's all sorts of ways and things you can do. And that bit doesn't really scare me, although again, as I say, it's always nice to have a little bit of something to know you can fall back on. But other than that, I don't want a high life in any way, shape or form, and I don't know whether this was some sort of temptation that was being held at me for a reason, but it showed me, it certainly showed me that none of that attracts me. I hate it. I don't want it. Superficial rubbish, and I just don't want it. So I was grateful for that in a way. So yes, one of the things he was sort of saying, this person, was that it's not just getting rich in this life, it's being able to take it into the next life. And it was like he knew the secrets to be able to do that. So that got me thinking, obviously, about so-called denominations that are in control with regards to this world. And I was thinking, is that it then? Is that the key here? Is it that we keep coming back without our memory, so we start again from scratch with nothing? So it's it's going to take so long and so many of these, whatever you want to call it, reincarnations to build up to be able to do something, as a lot of people are now, and after many, many, many reincarnations. So what he was kind of saying was, these people then, that have this knowledge, they come here, they get as much wealth as they can, and then they're reborn, I guess, into whatever, another body or whatever. Again, we get into this whole transferring of consciousness thing, and they get to keep their wealth, and so it just builds up and builds up. So each lifetime they can just do what they want. But do you know what? I tell you something. Even if this guy was legitimate, and it's highly unlikely, of course, but even if he was, he still was sounding like he was at a sort of a stage in his life where he didn't know what he wanted anymore. So what does that tell you? It doesn't make you happy, does it? I think having the memory might be good, and being able to choose how you come back and when you come back would be probably pretty cool, but you can only have so much money, and once you've got past that, and you can have whatever you want, what's the point? What can you desire to have? This is, I think, it catches up with these people. They don't realise it, do they? Because they think it's going to make them happy. And as I said to him, you look around you at all these so-called famous people that have got fame and fortune, and how many of them seem to be happy? Really, how many of them seem to be happy? They all get to the stage where they need this adrenaline boost all the time, and it takes more and more and more things to give it to them each time, and that's why they all end up on drugs or alcoholics, etc., etc. So, it's obviously not the key to life, is it? So, it's obviously another road that we need to take to make us happy, and that's kind of what I'm trying to show here, or hoping to try and show, that the most basic things, but in the most beautiful places, are what really makes us happy. And I've been like that for ages anyway, I'm sure you're all fed up with me posting pictures of flowers and whatever, and bees and stuff on Facebook, but these little things, honestly, this summer's been lovely in that, it's been weird for me because I lost my mum, but I've been sitting in the garden so much, and the things that I've seen, the birds and the little mice running around and the little chicks that I've been looking after, and all these things, little things, but do you know what? They've meant so much to me, and they've probably made me happier in those moments than anything else. So, it's a question of looking at the right things, isn't it? So I'm going to be in my element, and the more I think about it, I was talking also about the fact that we all get stuck in a system from an early age, and none of us really get to follow our dreams. Most people go with the flow and what they're supposed to do, and any dreams that they may have had when they were younger just get wiped away, especially when you start having kids and have a family and stuff, and it just goes totally out the window, doesn't it? And most people just end up doing this bog standard thing called life. And then sometimes you step back and you think about, what was my passion? I know what mine was. Mine was always animals, always. And I did try to get into that at the beginning, but it didn't work, and I ended up in an office for 30 years, as I've said many times. So, it's never too late, though. That's the whole point. It's never too late. And this is the time for people to start looking at what they really want to do, because despite appearances and despite what people may think, things have changed, and things are continuing to change. And again, I know people that speak about this kind of thing regularly, and they've been my complete inspirations, and Robert Young is one, and I'll keep mentioning this man because there's something about him, and I do have total confidence and faith in him. So, but again, it's not about having a guru. We have to look to ourselves. It's about having an inspiration, absolutely, but it's all down to us when it comes down to it. So that was it really. Just wanted to share those things after a week of stuff on Facebook. and I had to laugh. I did a post yesterday about, I think someone had been trying to get into my Facebook account because I got a message about someone trying to change the password, and I know I hadn't done that. So, and I put a comment out about if you see any strange posts from me, stranger than usual that is, and then someone put underneath, Francois put underneath something about what if it's not like totally sort of if it's something with actually some construct to it as opposed to something that we haven't got a clue what you're on about, so we know it's not you. And it made me laugh. Thanks, Francois. But this is it, you know, we have to not take life too seriously, and we've got to keep laughing and following our passions, and it's that simple. So I will shut up now and wish you all a wonderful weekend. Take care, and bye for now.